So this is a video on customizing natural mob spawns. So as you can see, I've set it to night, and as zombies are spawning, they're turning into these instantly rather than being normal zombies. So it replaces the natural spawn of zombies with rainbow zombies. So I'm going to show you the commands of how to do it, and then I'll run through doing it with a different mob. So the first thing you need to do is this command on a repeating unconditional always active command block. And so what the command does is it will set a tag for any entity in the world that is a zombie and doesn't have a tag, and then it adds the tag zombie. And then you've got this little row of command blocks here, all obviously facing into the next. So the first one's a repeating unconditional always active, and it tests, and the command is test for @e tag equals zombie, so it finds any zombies that have the tag zombie, so any of the ones that this one just gave the tag to. And then the next one, chain conditional and always active. So what this one does is it spawns your new zombie on top of the zombie that had already spawned in. So using the execute command to find a location to complete the commands. So execute at any entity with the tag zombie, so that's given to all new zombies as we've done with the first block. And this just says that the second command will happen at the location where a zombie with the tag zombie is, and then it runs the structure load command, which will then load zombie2, which is a saved structure, which I'll talk about in a second, and then 3 tildes just for the location of this over here. And then the last command block is another chain conditional always active, and this one will then TP the old zombie down into the void. So the reason that you TP it rather than killing it is because if you kill it, it will have a death animation and it will drop the loot on the floor. So this way it won't have either of that, it will just immediately teleport it away and there won't be any loot to be picked up or anything, it will just disappear. So that's just a TP command, so /TP any entity with the tag zombie tilde, so that'll be your X coordinate, but wherever it is, second tilde minus 1000, so wherever it is what on the Y coordinate minus 1000, and then the third tilde just for the current location, so it just sends it straight down. So the last part of this is creating your custom entity, which is loaded in here, so zombie2. So for this you need a structure block, and I will show you how to do this quickly. So you want to just type /give @self and then structure block, and then that will give you a structure block, just normal in the chat. And then place down your structure block and change the size of it to 1 by 2 by 1, so x1, y2 and then z1, so that's the height and width of the zombie. And then change the Y to +1 so that it's above the structure block. And then I like to use glass, but it really doesn't matter, you just need something that blocks the zombie in so it can't walk away when you're trying to change it and save it. And then we need a dispenser to give it gear and weapons, or any items we want. And a lever to activate. And it's usually a good idea to place that above if you're doing this during the day, just so the zombie doesn't burn. Right. So the next thing we want to do is, well, I'm going to use a skeleton this time, just to show that it works with any mob and whatnot. So spawn in my skeleton, and the first thing I'm going to do is name it. You don't have to name it, but you just can do. Obviously grab any custom colour you want, so I'm going to make this one show up in blue. aqua colour, like that. And then all the colour codes you can find online, and then name it anything you want. So water skeleton, like that. Don't get that anymore. And then next we'll probably give it some armour, so any armour you want, a bit of diamond armour on it. You can enchant the armour if you want to. I'm not going to for this, but you can. And then if you want to, you can use another command to give it an enchanted bow by using the replace item command, but I'll just leave it with a normal bow for this time. And then next thing you want to do is grab one of these repeating command blocks, or just a normal command block, and change it. If you don't know how to get a command block, it's /give @self and then command block, like that. And so we're going to place our block down and add it on repeating, and then unconditional and always active. And so this first block is going to simply do the same thing as the other single command block and add a tag to every untagged skeleton. So tag entity, so all entities that are the type skeleton and have the tag of nothing. So tag and then close square bracket, add skeleton. So you can put whatever tag you want. I do a capital letter at the start and the name of the mob because it keeps it obvious and I'll remember what that is. So the only issue with placing this one first is now our skeleton has got the tag skeleton, so we don't want that because then it will get replaced. So now we want to add, so tag entity type equals skeleton, so we're going to add our new tag to this skeleton so it doesn't automatically get the other tag of just skeleton, and then add a radius of 2 just so it only adds it to this skeleton. So skeleton, we're going to use skeleton in 2 because it keeps it obvious, and hopefully we'll add to that skeleton on my left there. There we go. So added tagged skeleton 2 to water skeleton, and now we're going to do a similar command to remove skeleton, the skeleton tag from it, just so that it doesn't automatically get deleted later. There we go. And now we want to save it, skeleton 2 again, so just a similar thing so we can remember it. So let's save that. Okay, next. The command blocks, it doesn't matter if they're right next to each other, as long as they're not facing each other, they won't impact each other. So repeat unconditional always active, and this one is testing for any entities with the tag skeleton, so any normal skeletons. So super simple, just checks and then it sends a signal if it sees any skeletons. I'm going to turn it off quickly just on these redstone, just to avoid any accidents. So the next one, chain conditional always active, and this one's going to be spawning in our new skeleton. So this first bit is executing the command I'm about to write at the location of the old skeleton. So run structure so we're loading in another skeleton 2 and 3 tildes. So we're going to load a skeleton 2, the water skeleton, on the location of a normal skeleton that the game spawns in itself. Okay, and then our final command block is going to be getting rid of the old skeleton to avoid, because if we leave it, well, 1, we've got the skeletons that we don't want because we want to replace them, and 2, it's going to keep replacing them on top of them if we don't get it out of the way and kill it. So next we want to do TP at entity and then specify the normal ones, so the ones with tag skeleton, and then simply tilde, so their current X location, another tilde, so their current Y location, and we're going to take away 1000 from that, so it goes down and teleports it straight into the void, and then their current Z location, and then back at that. And now we just have to enable this one, and whenever we look around, all the skeletons should have turned into water skeletons. So here we go. There's a skeleton, it's now a water skeleton, and we can spawn them in, and they're all going to spawn in as water skeletons no matter what armor they've got on before they spawn in. They switch straight to this afterwards. And when you kill them, you've obviously got a chance to collect their chest piece, their legs, whatever items you give them. So lastly, the one issue with this setup at the moment is if I fly away far enough from the command blocks so that they're not rendered, we do get normal skeletons that aren't going to change, and normal zombies. And even so, if we spawn skeletons, they're going to be normal as if we spawn zombies as well. They just happen to both have enchanted bows. See, that one didn't. So now if we go back here, what we need to do is set up a ticking area. If you've done any sort of command blocks that need to be constantly on, you will know how to do this. But in case you don't, I'll show you right now. So it's really simple. All you have to do is go to one corner down here. So imagine that there is a rectangle or an oblong drawn around your command blocks. So we'll go to the bottom corner and copy our coordinates at that location. And then we want to go to the opposite corner. So, and now in this location we want to type ticking area, and then we're add. So we're creating a new ticking area, and then we're pasting in our first coordinates, copying the ones we're stood on now, pasting those in, and you can name it if you want to. So if you want to have a specific ticking area that only has certain things in it, then you can name it. I'm just going to leave it, and then enter. So 1 out of 10 ticking area is in use, so it's now changed it. That's not the coordinates I did, but this is included in those coordinates, so it's just highlighted the chunk, and that will be a ticking area now. So everything in there will always be rendered, so that all the commands will keep going no matter where I go. So now, no matter how far I go in this direction, so at this point we're a few hundred blocks away from the command blocks and well out of render distance, and still, water skeleton, rainbow zombies, they spawn like they do. If you want to find out how to add custom jobs to mobs, click on the video on the left. If you want to support the channel through my Patreon, click the icon on the right. If you have any questions or tutorials you would like to see, comment them below. Thank you for watching.